Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Kill Team Battle Report. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Casa de Neil, where I'm about to fight a kill team battle with Into the Dark rules, with the Shadow Vault missions here, between my Legionary kill team and Neil's Intercession kill team. It's the fancy new Intercessor kill team, where you get to take a whole bunch of different ones. The story that we've got going on here today is going to be that the Dark Angels happen to be this squad of Dark Angels happen to be hitching a ride across a sector from a Navy ship that was moving through, and it found itself coming under assault by a Chaos Space Marine Warband. That started firing on them and then sent a boarding ship onto them. The Dark Angels sprung into action, decided to face these intruders down in the depths of this ship, finding their way, and then realizing that these Chaos Space Marines were not just here to take away a bunch of the supplies, they were also here to take the ship down, and that they were bringing a bomb with them to plant and blow up here on this ship. So that's the story that we've got going on. We are going to be playing the Demolition Run mission, which is mission 2.1 in the Shadow Vaults, Kill Team Shadow Vaults. Into the Dark here. We've got the board set up here. There are 3 objectives on the table here, 1, 2, and 3. I am the attacker, and Neil will be the defender. Essentially what happens is the attacker is trying to sabotage these supplies on here. So I can either do an action on those supplies, which will sabotage them, or I can blow up the bomb next to within triangle of one of them, and that will also sabotage those objectives. I can do an action on the bomb to activate it, and Neil can actually do an action on the bomb to disarm it. And essentially the way it works is I'm trying to take it, and at the end of the game, every objective marker that has been sabotaged scores me 2 points. Everyone that hasn't been sabotaged scores Neil 2 points. And if the bomb blew up within range of an objective, I score 6 points. And if it didn't, then Neil scores 6 points. So, that's what's going to be happening here. I can move the bomb along with the, it's going to be on the haulage trawler here. There's nothing in there. It shows its wounds, it shows its saves, and it says that it can do normal move. You basically activate it like an operative, but it doesn't have any APL. But it doesn't give a movement characteristic, and we couldn't find it anywhere. So we are going to play it as having 2 white as a movement characteristic, so it can just go along just the 2 white there, and that should be fine. That's what we're going to do, because we thought 3 might be too fast to get to an objective, 1 might be too slow, and then we don't get to blow up a bomb, which is a little disappointing, but it should be fine. Also of note with this mission, there is more than 4 turning points. There can be more than 4 turning points. Essentially, this mission ends when the bomb explodes. Another one of the kill teams is wiped off the table, or one of the players concedes. But so it can go on, I guess, technically forever if we become stubborn and don't kill each other and just sit in corners. But that's probably not going to happen, let's be honest. So I'm going to try to blow up the bomb. Neil's going to try to stop me from blowing up the bomb. It should be a lot of fun. So that is the story. That is the mission. Before we go any further, though, let's show you the 2 kill teams that are going to be fighting it out. So for the Legionaries, I'll be bringing a Chosen. I will bring an Anointed, a Butcher. We have a Gunner with a Plasma Gun. We have a Shreve Talon, and we have a Heavy Gunner with a Reaper Chain Cannon. And for the Intercession team, he will have an Intercessor Sergeant with a Thunderhammer. We have 2 Shooty Intercessors and 3 Assault Intercessors. Alrighty, so that is going to be the kill teams. Going over deployment over here, I've got my my Chosen over on the side here. We got the bomb right next to him. We have my Shreve Talon and my Gunner back over here. We then have from left to right here, we've got my Heavy Gunner, we've got my Anointed, and we have my Butcher. Going over deployment for the Intercession kill team here, we've got over on this side, we've got the Intercessor Sergeant with a Thunderhammer. We've got 2 more Intercessors, and then we've got 3 Assault Intercessors over on that side. We are now going to do the scouting step. It's also of note that you don't place barricades during this mission. It specifically states it. And I think it's basically so you can't prevent the bomb from being able to get to where it needs to, because that would be boring. So I imagine that's why they did that way. We are going to do the scouting phase, which would allow you to 3 options. You can infiltrate, you can fortify, infiltrate, or recon. Fortify would be placing a barricade, although you can't do that this turn. We then have infiltrate, which allow you to change one of your the operatives in, tokens, or you can do recon, which will allow you to do a free dash before the game. We'll put down 1, 2, or 3. This will also be the rock, paper, scissors method to find out who goes first. Basically, fortify beats infiltrate, infiltrate beats recon, recon beats fortify. So we are going to do that now. If there's a tie, it does go to the attacker, which would be me. So let's find out. Here we go. Placing ours. 1, 2, 3. We both chose 3, so we both take our dash action. We will come back to you with the first turning point. All right, so into the strategy step of the first turning point here. We both gained a CP, putting us both at 3. Because I have the favored by the Dark Gods on my chosen guy, he's Khorne. It's note the 2 guys who shoot are going to be Tzeentch, and then the 2 guys who are everyone else is going to be Khorne. But because my favorite of the Dark Gods is Khorne, I get to choose something to do. One of the strategic ploys with Khorne that I can do, so I'm going to do Perpetual Aggression. Essentially allows them to do a normal move each time the friendly Khorne operative fights in combat. If it is not within engagement range, I can basically move into engagement range, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to spend any CP to do any other SS. Neither is my opponent. It is worth noting my opponent does have you choose your chapter tactic that you have on these guys, so he's given them all basically +1 plus a triangle to their movement and +1 wound on everyone, which is pretty cool. You choose 2, so that should be fun. We've also revealed our secondaries here. So my opponent has protect assets, so he's basically trying to lose less than I am. Or it's at the end of any turning point if 2 or more enemy operatives were incapacitated while within circle of an objective marker during the turning point, or while carrying an objective marker during the turning point, score 1 VP. And if you do it again, you score another one. And then central control, so he's going to be trying to get guys in the center there. Oh man, that's not even focused. What's going on here? And then central control, trying to get into the middle there. I have chosen a revealed Savage Butcher and nominated my actual Butcher model. Come on, focus on there. Whatever, you can't see it. Anyway, if he kills 2 or more enemy operatives in close combat, I will score VP. If I kill 3 or more, he will score an additional VP. So that's going to be it for the strategy step. We'll come back to you with the firefight step. All right, into the firefight step here. My operative, my chosen, has moved and dashed into position over here. My opponent's Assault Intercessor over here, moved and dashed into position by the door. My Anointed has moved and dashed into position over here. Second Assault Intercessor has moved and dashed into position over there. My Shrieve Talon moved and dashed over to here while opening up the door over here. Third Assault Intercessor moved and dashed into position. Activated my Robot over here. My opponent has moved and dashed his guy while opening up a door over here. My Gunner moved and dashed over here. My opponent's Intercessor over here moved and dashed while opening a door. My guy with the Reaper Chain Cannon moved and dashed into position over here. Then his Sergeant moved and dashed and then opened the door over on this side. And then my Butcher is going to move and dash over here and get in range to open the door. And that will be the end, actually. May as well. That's going to be the end of the first turning point here. So no points. I don't think anyone has any secondaries that has to go here. So that's going to be that.
I'm not in the middle.
So we will now roll off to see who will have the initiative going into the second turning point. I rolled a 3. My opponent rolled a 2. So it will be to the Chaos Legionaries here in turning point number 2. All right, so into the strategy step of turning point number 2 here. With my favorite of the Dark Gods, I have chosen to have Perpetual Aggression active. So essentially my Khorne guys, when they fight in combat, if they are not within engagement range of an enemy, I can do a basically like a normal move of blue and into engagement range. I've also chosen to pay 1 CP for Hateful Assault to allow me to fight twice if I so desire. My opponent has chosen Tactical Doctrine, so that if he shoots any of his guys, if they shoot, if they're within red of the person that they're shooting at, they can reroll one of the dice for free. My opponent and I don't have any other secondaries to show right now, so we will move on to the firefight step. All right, so now my butcher over here is going to charge to activate there into his intercessor on this side over here. I'm going to have 4 attacks with his double-handed chain axe here. These are going to be hitting on 4s. My opponent has he would have 5, but he goes down to 4 because I have Grizzly trophies as the extra equipment there, which reduces his attacks by 1. He is looking for 3s on his, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm looking for 4s, re-rolling. Okay, re-rolling. Okay, so I got 2 crits and 2 regular hits.
I can fish for a reroll.
Do you want to spend a CP to reroll? We'll come back to you.
He's a casual.
All right, so we are going to go over this. So what happened here is since I had the first shot here, I decided to strike with a regular blow, doing 5 damage. My opponent struck with a regular blow, doing 4. I struck with a crit, doing an additional 7. Did another 4 to me, and then I took him out with that 7. The reason I started with the non-crit one was to keep him from being able to parry both of those and keep him alive, so I wanted him dead. Now, because I did a fight action, and I'm not within engagement range, I can actually do a normal move now with him and go into range between them over here. Because I can do a normal move of blue and get within engagement range over there. So his third APL will be to fight again. All right, so then like I said, I'm going to attack his guy over there. We'll do the far one over there. He's going to have 4 attacks, but I'm now wounded because I've taken 8 damage here. So this is going to be hitting on 5s, but again, because I still have charge this turn, I will have. I'm going to be looking. I will be able to re-roll everything for my savage. What is it? Vicious blows. Because I charge, I get senseless. My opponent lost the die, so he's down to 4. And he's going to be hitting on 3s.
Oh, all right. No. I definitely burn a root.
Let's re-roll all of these. Alrighty.
I'm going to re-roll one of these. Because I'm just...
Okay, my opponent's going to spend a CP to re-roll, so he gets the 2 hits there. Alrighty. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to strike with my crit there, doing 7 wounds to the first guy, the guy on the far side there. But then because it has Reap 2, it does 2 mortal wounds with that strike to the guy that is closest over here. Then my opponent will strike at me, which will kill me because that will do another 4. No, that does how many wounds? Yeah, that'll be 12, so that will kill him, as I only have 12 wounds, so that will kill my guy. So then I am going to spend 1 CP on Unending Bloodshed, which is for Khorne model. I roll 1 attack with one of my weapons here. If it is a hit, I can just do the damage. I can strike with it. So here we go. And that crit with the fill face, it does. Woo! So that did do 7 wounds to the first guy. He'll have 1 wound left because my opponent does have +1 wound for all his things. But that also still does 2 additional mortal wounds to this other guy over here before I go out of action there. So pretty killer.
So that's all he'll do.
My opponent's going to activate his intercessor over on this side, who's going to close the door over there and then move into position. So he's at least he's controlling this objective, this supply cache over here, so making it harder for me to be able to do the action. All right, so my heavy gunner has suspensor field, so it allows him to move 3 circle and still shoot. So he's going to do that with his weapon and fire into these guys. Because it has fusillade, I'm going to be able to choose 4 shots into the unwounded or the less wounded guy, and then 2 shots into the guy who has 1 wound left. So we're going to do the 2 shots into the guy with 1 wound left. These are going to be so it's going to be 2 shots hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because of ceaseless. Rerolling 1s because of ceaseless. Okay, so that's just going to be 1 hit there. That's a crit, though. You do get your 3 defense dice. There's no AP to this at all. Looking for 3s. And that's going to be enough to ignore that with the 2. And then we got the 4 shots into the less wounded guy. Rerolling 1s. That is going to be a crit and 3 regular hits over here. Hitting on 3s. Yep, hitting on 3s.
All 3.
All 3 saves.
All right.
You can retake 1, yeah. So he gets a crit.
Oh, yeah, and I can auto one.
Oh, 1 second. All right, my opponent's going to do it again because he's going to take the 1 auto save from cover there because we forgot to do that. And then he's going to reroll. Okay. So he gets 2 regular ones. So your best... Ooh, let's figure this. And then my opponent's going to spend a CP to reroll that other one there.
Fishing for...
Does get a 3. So he's going to ignore all 3 of these and just take 5 damage. All right, my opponent's going to move up over here. He's wounded. He's going to fire into my guy over here. So he's got P1. He also spent the CP, so he's going to be able to reroll one of these. These are going to be hitting on 4s because of being wounded. Okay, gets to reroll one of those dice. So that's going to be 2 crits and a regular, which is pretty good. I've got the 3 dice. I'm going to spend 1 to save myself with cover there, and then I've got 2 others looking for 3 pluses. It's P1, right? Actually, yeah, P1. And you did get a crit, so it's just going to be 1 other dice. Yep. Not going to get it. What's the damage on these?
Its max is going to be 4 for these, and
so it's 3, 4. Yep. I'm going to have to. I'm going to spend a CP to reroll one of those. Reroll that one. Into a 4 there, so that's going to ignore one of the crits. So I will end up taking 7 damage. The robot's going to move up to there. All right, then my opponent's going to do the same thing with this guy over here, getting his shots off into me here. So again, 4 shots hitting on 4s.
Nice.
Does not need to reroll any of those. So P1. I don't know if there's anything I can do to save myself, actually. Nope, there's nothing I can do. He's going to be dead. So, all right, out of action. All right, my gunner over here is going to activate. He's going to, in his movement, he's going to move up, open the door, and then move back with the 3 that he's got that he can move there. Because you can open doors in the middle of your move and finish the rest of it. So he moved up, opened the door, and moved back. And he's going to fire into his sergeant over here. I am going to supercharge my plasma gun here. So I'm going to have 4 shots hitting on 3s. Oh, buddy. Okay. It's a crit and a regular, and then I'm going to spend a CP to reroll one of these ones into a 1. I've got a shirt for that. I also take 6 wounds because of that, which is not great. But then you do get only 1 die because it's hot. It's a AP2. Yeah. And then you can roll. You can either take the auto save, or you can roll to try to fish for a 6, but if you don't get a 6, it's doing 5-6 damage here. So you're just going to take the save. All right, so you're going to take 6 damage. Yep. I'm going to take 6 damage. Everyone's taking 6 damage. Womp womp. Done. All right, so now his sergeant's going to activate. He's going to move up to here, and he is going to fire into my gunner over there. So he is going to have 4 shots with the bolt rifle. Yep. Looking for 2s because he is the sergeant and not wounded. All right, that's going to be all hits. Yep. No crits though, so not P1. So I'm gonna have 3 defense dice here. It's P1, but you didn't get any crits, so it doesn't take away. Yeah, it doesn't become any P1. So I'm gonna have 3 dice here, looking for 3s, and I make them all. Woo! I did take 3 damage because there was 4 hits there, but I got all 3 saves, which is pretty good. Now my opponent is going to, because of Bolter Discipline, so all of the intercessors have Bolter Discipline, which allows them to do 2 shooting attacks. All of the assault intercessors have shock assault, which allows them to do 2 fighting attacks. It's pretty good. No CP spent for them. It's pretty nice. So here we go. These are going to be hitting on 2s. That's going to be all hits. It doesn't matter what I do because one of those will go through for 3, even if I got 3 crits. So my guy will be incapacitated. All right. So my Shreve talent is going to activate. He is going to charge into his sergeant over here. I am going to have 5 attacks here with my flensing blades hitting on 3s, lethal 5+, so crits on 5s. My opponent has his thunderhammer there, so he's going to have 4 attacks hitting on 4s, doing 5-6 damage with stun. So here we go. Looking for 3s. All right, so I'm going to have 2 crits and a regular. 1 second. My opponent's going to spend a CP to re-roll one of his dice.
Fishing for a crit.
Fishing for a 6. He really wants a crit here. No! We'll get it over there with a 1. So what's going to happen here is I am going to strike with that, doing 5 damage. My opponent will strike with this, doing 5 damage. And then I will strike with this, doing 5 damage and taking him out of action. When I do so, I will reveal Headhunter for 2 points since it is the second turning point. And then because I still have it, he's a Khorne model as well, so he gets to move his blue into combat over here, and then I'm going to fight again because of Hateful Assault there. So it's going to be, again, he's going to have his 4 attacks over there. What I wanted to check with his, he has a special rule called Horrifying Dismemberment. When I incapacitate an enemy in close combat, I can choose another enemy within blue of him and reduce his APL, so I reduced his guy's APL over here. But I'm still going to attack with my 5 attacks from the Flinching Blades. My opponent's going to have, is it 4 attacks with just the gun butt, correct? So he's got 4 attacks with the gun butt looking for 3s, or the fists looking for 3s. I'm going to have 5 attacks looking for 3s as well.
I'm going to use my Purity Seal and reroll.
All right, my opponent's going to use his Purity Seal that he's got on that guy over there.
So then that's gone on that guy.
And then reroll one of those.
That's better.
All right, we'll come back to you. All right, so in here, in the resolving the dice here, I went first and parried one of his crits with one of mine. He struck with his crit. I parried with my regular strike into his regular strike, and then struck with my 2 other crits down there. So he did 4 damage to me, and I did 10 damage to him. All right, my opponent's going to now activate his Intercessor over here and fight into me here. I'm going to have 5 dice looking for 4s because I'm wounded. He's going to have 4 dice looking for 4s because he's wounded. All right.
I got nothing else.
So I got a 5, and I've got a crit and a regular. But because I have a special rule on my Shrieve Talon here called Vicious Reflexes, I get to start, and I am going to strike with my crit, doing 5 damage to him and incapacitating him there. All right, so my opponent has, my opponent doesn't have anyone else, so I activated my Anointed, who moved and dashed while opening the door over here onto the objective over there. Did not have another APL to sabotage it, but my Chosen moved and opened the door and then still had an APL to sabotage this objective over here. So at the end of the game, that will get me 2 points. And that is going to be it for our the second turning point here. So we will now roll off to see who will have initiative going into the third one. I rolled a 5, my opponent rolled a 6, so it will be to the Intercession squad here on turning point number 3. All right, so during the strategy step here of the third turning point, we both gained a CP, so I've got 2, my opponent has 1. Neither of us have anything to reveal, and neither of us are going to spend anything. I did take the one that I had before for Khorne model, since my Chosen is still on there for free, and that is going to be it. So we'll come back to you with the firefight step. All right, my opponent's going to activate his Assault Intercessor over here, who is going to activate, move into position over here, while opening the door, and then he is going to shoot into my guy over here. So he's going to have 4 shots with his gun, hitting on 4s because he is wounded.
Yep.
All right, that's going to be a crit and a hit. I'm going to have, because of that, it's P1, so I'm going to have 2 defense dice here to roll. Looking for 3s. Getting a crit and a regular, so he is going to be good to go. Woo! All right, so now I'm going to activate my Anointed over here. I was debating about letting the demon loose, but I held it back. Kept my resolve, and I did the mission action over here to sabotage that supply check over here. Then I charged into him over here, and I will be attacking. So I have 5 attacks here. These are going to be hitting on 3s. My opponent has 5 attacks because he's got his chainsword, hitting on 4s, though, because he is wounded. All right. So because I've taken that crit, I can actually retain an additional 1 because it is rending as a crit here. So my opponent's got his 2 dice there to try to defend it, but he's got the 1. It doesn't make a difference. I will strike with that crit and knock him out of combat. And then, because I've taken the blue thing, the ability to move blue, excuse me, sir, I'm going to move over here and engage you over there.
Get him.
But I can't fight you. That's just the engagement. All right. So now my opponent over here is going to activate. He's going to fight me. So I've got 5 attacks. He's got 4 attacks. He is wounded, so he's hitting on 4s. I'm hitting on 3s.
Nice.
So I got a crit and 2 regular. That crit becomes a crit because of rending, and we will come right back to you. So in the dice resolving dice step here, my opponent struck. I struck with one of my crits. My opponent struck again, doing 8 damage to me total at that point, and then I struck again with a crit, doing a total of 10 damage to him and incapacitating him over there. All right, my Chosen has moved over here, opened the door on this side, and then dashed back into cover over there.
Sounds good.
So my opponent now moved over here with his Intercessor. He is now going to shoot into my leader over here. So he's going to have 4 shots, looking for 3s to hit. That is going to be 3 crits. That is real good. The P1 now because of that, so I'm going to have 2 dice. Yeah, I'm just going to have to roll. I do get cover, but I think I'm going to fish for crits. Okay. Getting 1 crit and 1 regular, so just the crit will ignore one of those crits. So what's the damage on that? 4. So he's going to take 8 damage on me over here. He also now has Bolter Discipline, so he can go again. So I took 8 damage there. Yes, I took 8 damage. So I'm going to be down to come here. Oh, what is that? 5 damage, 5 wounds left. Right. So my opponent's now going to roll his attacks here.
4 dice.
4 dice again, looking for 3s.
3s again.
Getting 3 regular hits.
You know what?
Gonna spend a CP to reroll that?
I don't have to. I'm gonna waste my last Purity Seal.
Oh, gonna use his Purity Seal over there.
He had 1 as well.
Yep.
Hey!
Into a 4th hit there.
I'm done.
So I'm gonna have 3 dice here, trying to avoid being hit here. That is going to be a crit and 2 regular, so I will ignore 3 of those, and I will take 3 damage and be down to 2 wounds, but still alive. All right, I move the bomb over to here. And now my opponent's going to overwatch with this guy over here, hitting on 4s because of the overwatch.
Nice.
Getting 2 crits and a regular. I can't stop it, and I've only got 2 wounds left, so I will be incapacitated. Yay. I will then activate my Shrieve Talon over here, who is going to move and dash to there through this door and close it on his way through. And that will be the end of the turning point here, turning point number 3. So we will roll off to see who will have. I'm going to give a little. The reason I did this was I was thinking about coming up here and activating the bomb, and then at the end of this turning point, it would go off. But I didn't have enough movement to get within triangle of the objective. And because I couldn't get within triangle of the objective, if the bomb goes off within triangle of the objective, I get 6 points. But if it doesn't do that, my opponent gets 6 points. I currently have 4 points at the end of the game for sabotaging those 2 things. I have 2 points for Headhunter, but my opponent will have 2 points for this and 6 points for the thing going off. My opponent would win by 2 points. So if I tried to blow up the bomb now, it would go off. But I'm also down to like 3 wounds, which means that his full strength intercessor over here can do a real number to me. So I decided to do some hiding. So I moved over to there. So that's going to be that. We will now roll off to see who'll have initiative going to the next phase there. I rolled a 6, my opponent rolled a 1. So we will come back to you after movement phase, or for the strategy step of the 4th turning point. All right, strategy step. Neither of us, both of us gain our CP, and neither of us is going to use any of this strategy step. So we'll come back to you with the firefight step. I'm going to move the bomb over to here.
4 dice.
All right, my opponent is going to activate now. His guy is going to move over to here. He is now going to fire with his 4 dice into the robot. So looking for 3s to hit. Ooh, that is going to be a crit and 2 regular hits. I already burned my I will. Are you going to spend a CP to reroll?
Might as well.
Okay.
Might as well.
My opponent's going to spend a CP to reroll.
Sure, why not? Hey!
2 crits there. I'm going to roll its defense. It's got 3 defense and a 3-up save, but that is P1, so it's going to be 2 dice here, looking for 3s. Missing on both of them. So the damage on that is going to be 8 plus 6 equals 14 damage. All right, and my opponent then dashed over here, so he's within contesting range of the bomb, who's got 1 wound left, and he's within blue of the center there, so he's going to be trying to get his points for that, for his central control. All right, so my guy over here is going to activate. He's going to move and dash into position over here. My opponent's going to overwatch into the carriage over there, so he's going to have 4 attacks hitting on 4s because of overwatch.
Blam!
That will so that's going to be a crit and at least that, so I can't do anything, so it will be immobilized. So that truck cannot move anymore. And then my guy is going to just move up to there, which will end the turning point here. So we both have actually models within blue of the center there, the same amount of APL, so it does prevent my opponent from scoring his point there for his secondary there for central control. But we will now roll off for turning point number 5. I rolled a 1, my opponent rolled a 1, and I had initiative, so we'll go to my opponent there on turning point number 5. All right, so now my opponent has gone over here. He's activated. He's moved up into the doorway here, and he's going to shoot into my dude bro over here. The strategy step, we got our CP and nothing else happened. So sorry, I forgot that. Yeah. So here we go. So we have 4 shots here, looking for 3s. That's going to be a crit and 3 hits. All right, so I've got 2 defense dice over here. I can take cover. I think I am.
But I did.
And then I am going to, yeah, so I'm going to have 2 dice. Yep. I'm going to spend a CP to reroll that. No, that's going to be a miss. And I think that's going to kill me. So my guy is out of action. So then I moved and dashed with my guy over here, and that will be the end of the turning point. My opponent does have more within the center there, so he does get central control for one victory point there. We will now roll off to see who will have initiative going into the 6th turning point.
Oh, crap.
Fill face, so it will be to me. All right. All right, my guy is going to move on to the objective over here and destroy that or sabotage those supplies over on this side. My opponent's just going to move over here, so he's still within blue of the center, and then he's just going to stay because he is going to score his 2nd point for central control. So currently, it is 2-2. I have sabotaged all 3 of these. They will be 6 points at the end of the game. Now it's going to be a test to see if I can blow up that bomb or not. So we are going to roll to see who has initiative. I rolled a 5, my opponent rolled a 6, so we'll come back to you with the 7th turning point. All right, so into the strategy step of this turning point, we both get a CP. My opponent is going to spend one on Assault Doctrine, which allows him, if he charges, to re-roll an attack. My opponent then is going to activate, and he is going to charge into my guy over here, and he is going to attack me. So he's going to have 4 dice here, looking for 3s to hit. And can re-roll one of these. I'm going to have 5 attacks, looking for 4s because I am wounded. Okay, that is.
And then
I get a crit, and actually that's going to be 2 crits there because I'm lethal 5+. I'm going to shoot down. Opponent's going to re-roll one. All right. So because of my vicious reflexes, I get to go first.
Okay.
I will attack with my crit here, which will do 5 damage to you, leaving you at 10.
Yep.
But then my opponent will strike with one of his, killing my guy for 3.
Yep.
Killing my guy because he does 3 damage. I am incapacitated. So I am now incapacitated. There are no more of my guys on the table here, which means that the game is now going to be over. I got 6 points at the end of the game for having sabotaged those 3 objectives. My opponent gets 6 points because the bomb was not exploded, was not blown up within triangle of one of the objectives, which ties us. I get 2 points for Headhunter. My opponent gets 2 points for Central Control. So again, we are tied now at 8. But my opponent's third one was Faction TAC-Op number 3 for the Intercession squad, which is Indomitable Superiority. Which is essentially if enemy operatives do not control any objective markers, you reveal this at the end of the battle. If enemy operatives do not control any objective markers, but an Intercession squad operative does, you score 1 VP. If there are less enemy operatives in the kill zone than there are friendly Intercession squad operatives in the kill zone, you score 1 VP. So basically, my opponent scores 2 points for that because there are more of him than me, and he controls an objective, and I do not. So, it is a victory to the Intercession squad there, 10-8. Man, that was so much fun. At the end here, it came down to it. I was like, oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to blow up this bomb. I'm going to get the 6 points. I'm going to get all the wins. But then I was like, also, I'm going to do everything. I'm just going to blow up this bomb and end the game, even though he's not within there. But I realized when I did that, I was not going to win because I didn't have enough at the time for holding this objective. So much fun. I really do like these close quarters battles. Victory to the Intercessors being able to do what they needed to do, clearing out the heretics from inside the workings of this ship. Ton of fun. A ton of fun. A ton of fun. So, I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. My opponent's been Neil. And until next time, stay safe and have fun.